Welcome back. Our topic tonight, single-member districts. Provocative TV, right? Well, let's put it this way. If you live in Venice, do you give a hoot about Newtown? Anyone right now, county commissioners are elected on a county-wide basis. Now, that's like if all state reps and senators were at large. Why would a representative from Miami, let's say, give a darn about Sarasota? But it does work politically for the Republicans, since Republicans outnumber Democrats countywide. Not so in the city of Sarasota, certainly not true in Newtown. The proof is in the pudding. When was the last time a Democrat was elected to the county commission? Anyone? 1970. Joining us for more are Jack Brill, the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and former city commissioner Fred Atkins, who ran for county commissioner back in 2016. And Jack, let me put it to you that way. If you aspire to have representation from different segments of our great county, wouldn't it be a good idea to have somebody like Fred represent Sarasota and the Newtown area, just like you have others represent Southern County?
Well, we have our current county commissioners all live in their districts, so we already have that. And the opportunity, when Fred ran, he ran for District 1. He didn't prevail, but he still was able to run, and he ran from District 1. What you've got to look at for the single-member district, this is probably the biggest voter suppression in the since 1992, when the county did it and immediately got rid of it 2 years later. How can you sit there and say single-member districts are better when, if you go to single-member district, you get to vote for one county commissioner once every 4 years instead of voting for all 5? This takes away the voters' rights.
Fred?
He used the word suppression. The suppression in single-member districts is not the problem. The suppression is in at large elections when you have a few money masters running the county of Sarasota by where they dictate who get elected. The last 2 or 3 commissioners that was elected in District 1 hadn't been in town 4 years, but they had rubbed up next to the money people, and all of a sudden they had the power to get elected just because they had an aura by their name.
But look at 2008 with Jonah Miller and Carolyn Mason. Jonah Miller raised and spent $115,000. Carolyn raised $37,000, and she became a great commissioner for 8 years.
Okay, we have to take a break. Our conversation continues. Welcome back. We are talking about single-member districts, and joining us for more are Jack Brill, the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and former city commissioner Fred Atkins, who ran for county commissioner in 2016. Jack, isn't the opposition to this in some way simply politics? That, obviously Democrats have a much tougher road to win county-wide if it's a county-wide race.
If you have the best candidates, you're going to win the election. This is not as much party politics as it is doing what is the right thing for the voters of Sarasota County. It offers, having everybody working together. So the issues in Northport are on an equal basis on the issues in North Sarasota County.
As I said at the outset, I really, if you live in Venice, I don't really know why you would really care what's happening in terms of Newtown and what Newtown needs or what downtown Sarasota needs.
You better care, because your tax base gets affected all the way through, depending on who's in charge and who's running it.
Mr. Moderator, there was no way that the best candidates in my 3 races for county commission, 96, 2000, 2016, won. Neither time were the best candidates. They were all neophytes, and so that don't hold water.
Well, I mean, are you saying that no strong Democrat would jump into that race because they know it's a losing endeavor?
I was the strong Democrat in the race, and I was the best candidate, and there was no reason that I lost other than they had more money and the Republican Party had an R behind their name.
But Jack and Joe Gruters were saying basically if Democrats ran in a way that appeals to county-wide residents, that they would have a chance of winning.
Well, we are 40+ years into the future of the last elected Democrat to the Sarasota County Commission. And out of all of the districts, there's not been one candidate palatable for the Republican or the majority of Sarasota County. No, it is definitely political, and the struggle is not about politics. It's about making sure that all the people of Sarasota County are represented, from Northport to the airport, and that's what's more important. And so the party is not necessarily what's most important. the people of Sarasota are getting left out because the power brokers of this community, which is 4 or 5 people, is dictating who get elected.
You're shaking your head, but
No.
I do have to take a commercial break. We are just getting warmed up. Obviously, our conversation on single-member districts will continue right after this. Welcome back. We are talking about single-member districts, and joining us for more are Jack Brill, the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and former city commissioner Fred Atkins, who ran for county commissioner in 2016. Jack, here, in Florida, as in every state, you have representatives and state senators from across Florida representing the interests of those particular regions. Same thing in Congress. You have congressmen and senators from all parts of the country. That at some point there are issues that are, important in the south of the U.S. that may not be important in the Northeast, but it's a matter of Democrats and Republicans working together regionally for things. Why is that such a bad idea?
We are working together. All 5 of our candidates are from different parts of the county, and everybody is working together. So, and every voter is represented in this process. One of the things we got to remember also, and Kinder's and SAFE organizations behind this whole thing with the Democratic money, is been pushing that, we're going to have the single districts, but we're going to use the exact same as like Manatee and the other counties. But even if you look at, this is 5 single districts for this county. Heck, Manatee's 3 single districts and 2 at-large districts. She said we're going to save money, for the candidates. It's going to bring it to the grassroots. Do you know in 2016, the 3 single districts, those 3 candidates raised more money and spent more money than the at-large candidate in Manatee County? So you look at this whole thing is because they can't follow the rules with the best candidate possible to win the election, so they want to change the rules. And by the way, it started in 2004, the Herald Tribune. Go ahead.
Alan, this guy keeps referring to this cooperative arrangement at Sarasota County, but he's not talking about the cooperative arrangement among the citizens of Sarasota County. He's talking about the cooperative arrangement among the masters of the money in Sarasota County that are directing the county commissioners to do their bidding for them. And it shows up everywhere. These county commissions are making decisions that the people in that community are appalled at, and they continue to raise their head. And no matter how many people you take to the county commission is elected by the money. Right, and the money is dictating what issues are brought forward and what development decisions are made in Sarasota County. And that is our problem with at-large election, because only a few is dictating the concerns.
Fred, then why is it that Commissioner Mike Moran has got the Myrtle Street Railroad project moved up through the Metropolitan Planning Organization by 10 years in the funding? That's not part of the development of having that taken care of.
Commissioner Mike Moran didn't do that.
Yes,
I've been begging for the Myrtle Street project for 20 years.
It's been getting done. It's happening. Right. That's the important thing. It has nothing to do with development.
It's been happening a long time, and it has never happened. They pull it out every other week.
This also isn't a strictly partisan Democrat versus Republican, because there are elements of out there of people who are campaigning for the single-member districts. I'm thinking about Dan Loback and those folks who are Republicans, but they believe that the interests of the city may not be the interests of the county.
But at the same time, when you look at this initiative through May, $60,000 of the funds raised to get this petition drive. Rosalie Danbury, the lady down in Venice in Hawaii, $31,000. Hugh Culver House with Palmer House Ranch, $10,000. The Democratic Party of Sarasota, $10,000. An operations group out of D.C. Why does D.C. care about our single district race? So the 4 major contributors put in $60,000, all Democratic contributors.
So Fred, let me ask you, if you say that the biggest impediment for Democrats to win county-wide is money, you obviously have big Democrats who are willing to spend on this initiative.
Democrats are willing to spend on this initiative because it's vitally important to get a free election in Sarasota County. And the most fairest and freest election to have in Sarasota County is single-member district. And that's why we were able to find persons that were sensitive to those issues.
But those persons can also fund a candidate.
In the past, they haven't.
Well,
So their
but
issue is
I'll
the
go back-
concerns about fairness and participatory process of all the citizens of Sarasota
Fred,
County.
then I got to go back to the same example with Jono. Jono raised $115,000. That's a lot of money
But
in
Jack,
2008.
there are other counties, and you talked about Manatee, but also Hillsborough County, where it is a mix of county-wide at-large seats, but also commissioners who are representing and responsible to their particular districts, and there is a barter in terms of what is good for one part of the county and what's good for the other part of the county.
You don't think if we had a single member, district member situation right now, that the folks down in Northport and Englewood with River Road, the people, they should be scared down there, because if they don't have, with the type of, where everyone worked together to get River Road to the state and Midnight Pass over to the county, they're able to have their
River
main-
Road, they've
it's
been
a-
waiting on River Road for
No.
30 years. The county
it's-
commission
it's-
didn't get anything done
But
now
the
until
state
Pat
hasn't-
Neal started building some houses down
That's
there,
not-
and all of a
that's
sudden
not
it was
true.
all right to do
It's
the
not
right
true.
thing.
I guess-
the point is
I-
not doing the. It is doing the right thing. You've got it's a major evacuation route, but
It's been a major evacuation route for 40 years.
Yeah,
Hold
but
on,
at the same
folks.
time, you have to.
Right. What I hear from the community when I talk to them is there is a sense, Jack, in places like Newtown that residents there don't believe that they get their fair share in terms of from the county and in terms of everything it could bring in terms of
We had an
investment
African
and-
American. We had an African American elected from District 1, Carolyn Mason. Carolyn Mason haven't been seen in District 1 in the African American community in 5
Okay.
years.
Well, let me give you a
I think
chance to-
Carolyn Mason did a wonderful job as part of the team.
I
for
knew
all-
you would,
all
because she was
part of-
bidding for you and yours.
That-
But whether
I'm
it's
not
true
going-
or
I'm
not,
not going there.
but there is, whether it's true or not, there is a perception that places like Newtown are overlooked in terms of the investment from the county.
But look at SMH just put in their brand new facility there. That's part of the county and public taxpaying money.
Took 25 years. I started doing that in '92 to get that facility there. We had issues in Sarasota District 1 city that after we elect Carolyn Mason as a Democrat, she decided to become a Republican because you convinced her to be a better person.
So, Fred, is this the best chance that you think that people who are proponents of single-member districts have to make this happen? Because
This
obviously,
is-
this is an experiment that has been tried before and then reversed.
No, this was never an experiment. This was a reality of the citizens of Sarasota County getting a petition together, passing it through referendum, and then the county commissioners put it back on the ballot to campaign against single-member district and repeal it teetotally. So this is not an experiment. This was the wishes of the people that was dictated and reversed by the power brokers of Sarasota
But
County.
remember, in 1992, when it passed by 53%. 2 years later, when it was repealed by almost 65% of the vote. So we've played this song once, it failed. And then the interesting part is, I look here, Sarasota Herald Tribune, March 15th, 2004. Here's the headline: if you can't beat them, change the rules. And that's what Kinder and her group have been doing all these years, because they haven't gotten their way. They want to change the rules. We have very fair in county commission breakdown. We have that represent the entire county. I mean, I can't emphasize enough. If you're in Venice, Northport, Sarasota, you know, if you're in District 2, what do you care about District 5?
Fred, I'll give you the last word.
Sir, there is nothing about changing the rules if you don't include the people of the community. And what is happening is we've saw examples of trying to change the rules throughout the city and county of Sarasota by the same group of people that want to dictate their power through their money. And that's the problem with this process. We need to include the people of Sarasota County, not just the money masters.
Gentlemen, go ahead.
The people are, all the voters are included in this process because we have a fair, equal election system for our county commissioners by all of the voters of Sarasota County.
There's nothing
Best
fair about
system
4
there
people
is.
running our county. There's nothing fair about 4
Would you
people
believe that
dictating
Jack
our
and
county.
Fred will be going out for a beer after they're done here tonight?
I don't even drink beer.
Okay. We want to thank Jack Brill, Vice Chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and former Commissioner Fred Atkins, who ran for County Commissioner in 2016.